ESPN.com putting out a deep dive today as to how Bill Belichick, greatest coach ever, okay, and one of the greatest if you need that parsing for an argument sake, did not get a job in this cycle. And the article says the Cowboys never really considered Belichick, despite Jerry Jones and Belichick being friendly and tight, because Jerry Jones decided to stick with Mike McCarthy in, I guess, the 48-hour period right after being one and done by the Packers.
Yeah, Jerry made a quick decision.
Quick decision to keep him. Yeah. And this article says the Eagles actually, and Howie Roseman, give a sort of how you doing checkup call on Bill. Yep. They stuck with Nick Sirianni after they got one and done as well. And then there's the Giants, where Belichick, as we know, made his bones as defensive coordinator in the Parcells era and also special teams coordinator. He was Mike Mayock's first position coach when Mayock first strolled in there back in the 80s for the Giants. And so here's how it's going to work. Bill Belichick's going to get a job in the media somewhere. I don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, that article made it seem like it was happening. Imminent with Omaha to do something with Peyton Manning's team.
By the way, and if he wants to trust anybody in the media business, one of my first memories of the Pro Bowl is watching Belichick when he was a coach in the Pro Bowl, one of the first early years of NFL Network, basically commandeer a table at the pool bar and sit there with Peyton Manning, and they talked ball for hours. I mean, when I say hours, that's what they did. He and Peyton Manning, I'm sure, have an affinity and a respect. And Peyton Manning's Omaha Productions is a new industry standard. They signed a new, a 9-year contract extension with ESPN. Yeah. So that would make sense. And as a matter of fact, I see Bill on the screen right now. Yeah. Interestingly enough.
I know.
And so there's lots to talk about that Bill is, no doubt going to say. And no doubt Bill has a media career in him.
Without question.
It's going to go where he will be the guy that I saw on the set of NFL 100 who has stories for days and information for in cuticles that the rest of us don't have in our full body. And coaches and owners will see this guy on the screen and suddenly go, oh, so he's not the guy that we all thought he could be to blow up my organization. He plays well with others. I see him. I have enjoyed his thoughts. He's really intelligent. He's really this, that, the other thing. Have him in for a meeting, and then boom. He's going to have a gig. I think so. If that's what he wants. If that's what he wants. Not everyone's going to win the NFC East. Only one team can do it. And one would think, if all 3 teams or 4 teams make somehow make the playoffs, somebody in the NFC East is going to be left feeling less than. And if he looms over the NFC East the entire season, talk about a delicious storyline to add on to the Dallas Cowboys all-in season, or the retooling of the Philadelphia Eagles season, or the New York Giants doing whatever the heck's going to be happening with Daniel Jones or whoever they draft at the quarterback position if they do that, or whatnot. Because he's going to have a stupendous media year. That's going to happen. So be on the lookout. Bolo for B squared.
I rue the day Geppetto Jerry said those 2 words, man. I just
that's looming over the whole season too.
But again, let's be honest. The dude, and that's his name going forward, is Geppetto Jerry. He knows how to manipulate the media to have us and everyone else talking about Dallas 12 months out of the year. I'm sure
that's not always a good thing.
But no, that's not good.
But that's not. That shouldn't
bad,
be.
It is what do they say? There is no bad
publicity.
No bad press.
No bad press. So
that shouldn't be the end goal, though.
Shouldn't be, but
Because the best press is, hey, we had a parade.
Yeah, but we haven't had a parade since the mid-'90s, and yet Dallas is still the most talked about team. So, again, I don't know, and I've said this before, I don't know if winning a Super Bowl is a priority with them anymore. Because it sure doesn't seem like it is.
I think it absolutely does.
Has to be.
It has to.
Has to.
Didn't he say? Wasn't that his line when he came on this show?
For saying this?
When he came on this show, it wasn't last year. It was the year before last when he said that. I remember the night before our third Super Bowl win. I told the Lord that if I got this one, I wouldn't be asking for another, and I'd like to redo that deal. Yeah. Is what he said.
Yep.
Oh, he does. Yeah. Oh, he wants one. He doesn't want to be sitting there with the camera zooming in on him on Fox where it looks like he's swallowing in his own vomit while somebody comes into his building with their young quarterback and a bunch of receivers you've never heard of and put up 27 unanswered in the first half. He doesn't want that. Obviously he wants his team to be talked about. He wants his team's value to be through the roof. He wants all of that.
Those two things I agree with.
But he wants a championship. And again, what will be looming over the entire season, as we've been talking about for weeks, is the sense of all in and the lack of supplementing the roster that clearly had some holes when it came to it. That's what playoff baseball does. That's what the playoffs do in any sport, especially the National Football League, is it exposes the weaknesses that didn't get exposed by lesser opponents throughout the regular season. And when it's always funny, if you have a left fielder that can't throw or a left-hander in the bullpen that can't throw strikes, the ball will find that person in left field, and the left-hander will be on the mound in a high-leverage situation. If you can't run the football, you can't stop the run. If your quarterback needs X, Y, and Z to happen in order to be successful, if your wide receiver needs something extra to help him get a free release, those things aren't going to happen in the playoffs. And you need to find a different way to succeed, whether it's coaching, scheme, or another player that comes to the fore out of nowhere. Or a quarterback that just raises the level and says, jump on my back, I got it. And the Cowboys have not, as of right now, supplemented that roster in any significant way. And if the head coach goes into this season with no extra years on the deal, and Belichick is sitting there smiling and having a good time on some Omaha production or on your screen on a Sunday or a Monday or a Thursday, that's how he looms over the whole thing. And the same thing goes for the Eagles, and the same thing I'd imagine goes for the Giants. Because if you think you've got a roster that he can just come in and sprinkle the Belichick dust on, and then all of a sudden you could start winning championships in the 2-3 year period in which he's committed potentially to do it at age 72 at that point in time, you got to think hard and pull the trigger. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.